Good morning. It's a good morning the day after Christmas here in Florida. We've been having some beautiful weather, but I understand that's happening in a lot of places, warmer than usual temperatures for this time of the year. Anyway, before I get started on today's topic, I want to acknowledge all of the people that sent me e-cards. I took time to acknowledge those that sent me cards, that physical cards on paper, but I really didn't acknowledge the hundreds of people that sent me Christmas wishes and holiday wishes on email via the electronic system, which literally it numbers into the hundreds. Some of those were actual cards sent through American Greetings and other card things. That's not in the hundreds. Many of them were just simply messages of emails and Facebook greetings and things like that, and YouTube greetings as well. So thank you for all of those that wished me well, and I really appreciate my extended family. I've never had such an extended family in my entire life that I was aware of, although it's always been there. And that is true of many things in our lives. We are just simply not aware sometimes of the reality of how interconnected we are with everyone and everything. Anyway, today's topic, and I came up with numerous titles before I actually sat down at the computer to write it. I mean, my mind in my contemplation, I call it meditation, but when your mind is as active as mine is sometimes in the meditation period, meditation probably isn't the correct word. Contemplation is more likely more accurate than meditation. But anyway, the one that I finally selected was Foundations for Society. Truth and lies cannot coexist. And I wrote the blurb, just government, and yes, there is such a thing, derives its legitimate power from the consent of the governed. Corrupt government, which is all we have known in our current models, derives its illegitimate power from the owners of the corporation. Therefore, just government can never be a corporation, which, by legal definition, is a fiction that shields its owners from responsibility for their actions. There can never be peace on earth as long as corporations run the world. And after I wrote that, I was opening emails that have come in overnight, and I came across this quotation that I just had to include it in today's blurb. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And that's Albert Einstein. He was definitely one of those physicists that was also a mystic. In any case, we live in a time when there are societal pressures that have not been around for a very long time on this planet. Maybe not ever. Certainly not in recent history. Has there been such a worldwide awakening going on that creates stresses in the current system? And by right, it should create the stresses. Because what is happening is we are becoming aware that the world has become nothing more than a giant multinational corporation whose mission is world dominance and control of all the world assets. As I said yesterday, their idea is what is ours, and what is yours is also ours. In the United States, we don't even own our homes. And courts are not accepting when we claim the deed to our property and claim ownership of our own property, the courts are not allowing that paperwork to be filed. And the same is true with automobiles and virtually every other physical thing that we individually believe is ours by right of purchase and ownership. The corporations don't see it that way because they do not answer to the consent of the people. They answer to the consent or the will of those that own it. And the United States government is owned by the Federal Reserve, which is why as long as the Federal Reserve is allowed to exist, there cannot be peace on earth. There cannot be justice. There cannot be anything that has a semblance of compassion and of peace, because there can be no peace when that lie is in conflict with the truth of our individual existence, in which we have natural rights that are given to us just because we are here in physical form and we are living beings. Those are natural rights. But those rights conflict with the vision of domination that is held by those that own the corporation. And as long as governments are allowed to operate as corporations, there will never be peace on earth. I want you to understand that. That's a truth that every man and woman on this planet needs to come to grips with and understand. The corporation is a legal fiction, and it is an enemy, as are all legal fictions. You can't have a legal fiction and be in truth. They do not peacefully coexist, nor can they ever do so. And this is the apocalypse. This is the revelation. A revelation of what? The revelation of Jesus Christ, the revelation of truth, the revelation of the kingdom of heaven. What is the kingdom of heaven? What is truth? Truth is, I am. Now that may not seem like a complete thought, a complete sentence, but it is. Truth is, I am. That's the truth. I am, you are. We all are. Individual beings, children of the same Creator, the same God, if you will. And again, I don't really care if you use the word God. I use that word all the time because it's part of my tradition. But I don't care if you're an atheist or an agnostic. I don't care. And I can understand why people don't want to believe in God, because of what religion has done, because religion is also a corporation. The Catholic Church is one of the largest, if not the largest, corporation on the planet, vying certainly with the large oil companies and the large pharmaceutical companies, and not to mention the government companies. And the governments are companies. They are privately owned corporations. That's why Alan Greenspan has appeared on different news broadcasts and saying the Federal Reserve doesn't have to answer to anybody. Why? Because they're the owners of the government. They're the owners of the people as they see it. And that is the foundation of our society, and it's why our society has gone to hell in a handbasket. It's why our society has so much injustice and so much pain and suffering. It's not because government is bad. It's because we don't have a government. We have a corporation. Actually, many corporations, but it's really one corporation called the beast, if you will. And the apocalypse is bringing down that beast. If you go to Revelation, the smoke of Babylon rises up, and it was destroyed in 1 hour. 1 hour. And they had ruled over kings and princes and over governments. What is it? It's the Vatican. It's the Vatican. Okay? It's the Crown of England, which is owned by the Vatican. It's the District of Columbia, which is owned by the Vatican. Do you understand that this is all a big corporation, a big fraud, a legal fiction in which they have used secrecy for generations to hide the truth from people. But the truth is no longer hidden. That is the apocalypse. That is revelation of the reality that we have been lied to. And it's not that we have become we have been victims of this, but it's more than that. The victimization is actually the process of awakening. It is what has given us the ability to open our eyes, to open our minds, and to open the intuitive mind that Einstein talked about. We've done everything with the rational mind because that's how the corporation divorces itself from the intuitive mind. It divorces itself from the feminine. It divorces itself from any semblance or sense of balance. It divorces itself from that. It is totally destructive by its very nature, as are all religions and all belief systems that teach separation. That's why fundamentalist religions are nothing but ego religions. And why every single fundamentalist religion, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, name your fundamentalist religion, atheism, whatever the fundamentalist religion is that separates itself from everything else, that is an essential lie, because science and spirituality and mysticism teach us one basic underlying truth of reality. Everything is interconnected in the same web of life. And until we operate as a society from that foundation, there cannot be peace on earth. There cannot be a kingdom of heaven established here, there, or anywhere. Oh, my candle went way down. I don't even see it, but it is still burning, actually. It's just under the edge of the wall around it. I took out a lot of the wicks. I've had actually little pieces of charcoal stuck in there as wicks, and now it's just a single wick. And that's why it's so small compared to how it has been. Anyway, this whole structure of society that we've been cursed with and blessed with, and the blessing and the cursing, paradox, here's the paradox. The blessing and the curse are ultimately one. They're the same thing. Because it is the curse that awakens us to the blessing. It is feeling the effects of the corruption that allows us to awaken to the truth of our natural rights, to the truth of where we stand. I've been watching, as I've been preparing by getting more and more information, I've been watching some videos by Carl Miller on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I've watched 7 parts of the 11 parts in part 1, and there's actually, I guess, 3 segments. But folks, I want you to understand that the foundations for society were given to us in the Magna Carta, were given to us in the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution of the United States, and the Bill of Rights especially, and the United Nations Charter even contains natural human rights that are God-given and cannot be taken away. Are they violated? Yes, they're violated all the time. The violation is part of the awakening process. I wish it wasn't that way, but that's how complacent, that's how lazy, that's how ignorant we have chosen to be as a human family. And this is the time, as I said, of the apocalypse, the awakening, the revelation. We're finally starting to get it. This information needs to go viral, not hundreds of hits per day. And it's not just me, but I look at some of the things that get millions of hits and hundreds of thousands of hits, and it's not that they're bad. Some of them are, but in my opinion, but it's just sucked into the propaganda. We need to find time to know, to learn and be educated in truth. And what is truth? Truth is I am. Truth is you are. Truth is we are one. Truth is life is interconnected. Truth is there is no separation. That's always been a lie. It's always been an illusion. Always. It can't be anything else because that's not the fabric of reality. The fabric of reality is interconnectedness. That is the fabric, the bedrock, the foundation. And our society is waking up to that so that we can create a sustainable world, so that we can establish the kingdom of heaven on earth, so that we can find that city that has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. And it's beyond all of the lies that we've been told. And our religions are corporations, lies, legal fictions. Yes, Christianity too. Does that mean that everything in every religion is a lie? Of course not. Even the corporations cannot totally lie. They have to have some things that bear witness to something that people can say, well, that's true. But the basic foundation, when it's separation, when it's the rights of some over the rights of others, when it's that lie, there can only be discord. There can only be conflict. There can only be war. There can never be peace and compassion and love. Yet peace and love and compassion is the essence of who we are. We are not warlike beings. We are peaceful men and women, peaceful beings. You say, Ron, look at our history. Yes, look at our history. But look at the foundation for that history. Look at the foundation for that society. It has been a war of the masculine against the feminine, the suppression of the feminine. It has been a war between light and dark, between truth and error. And that's by the way, that needs to be not a war, but a revelation. Truth, the lights of truth need to be turned on and turned up, brighter and brighter and brighter, and that's happening in our world. Part of the Christian message taken out of the Old Testament is that the government shall be upon his shoulders, talking of the Christ. The government shall be upon his shoulders. And that government, and in that government, those that are Christed, those that are recognizing themselves as divine and recognizing life as the interconnected web that it is, they are servants of the people. And when they take the oath of office to uphold and defend legitimate constitutions, which the Constitution of the United States is a legitimate constitution. It is a contract of heaven with earth, if you will. Powerful men of vision gave us that as a foundation for the United States government, but it's not just the United States. This is a worldwide thing, not a one world government of domination, but a new world order, if you will, of heaven on earth. That is the new world order that's coming. And I want to encourage you to see that. Anyway, I just looked at the time. My goodness, I didn't think I went that far. But anyway, I'm gonna call it a message for today. And once again, as always, I thank you for listening. Namaste. Thank you.